So, just remembering that it doesn't have to be grandiose to be considered yoga. We in the West so often associate yoga with, putting our leg behind our neck and all those things. It's like, I'm really doing yoga when I'm doing that. Well, yeah, yoga is a process of looking inward. And we like to say, one of my primary teachers, William, says there are different ways to practice yoga. I love this. And he always say you can practice it with narcissistic competitiveness, which is not ideal. You can practice it the Minnesota way with stoic resignation. Dang it, I'm gonna do it. It's yoga. Or you can practice yoga with joyful investigative curiosity. So I'm kind of hoping we go that way today. Is that it's like, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. On this side, it feels this way, but on this side, it feels this way. And for all of us, observing without judgment is one of the hardest practices of yoga. And yet that's why we practice. So we can observe things, what's going on, not only the outer body, this thing, but the inner body. What are you noticing? And so today I'm going to keep bringing you back to the inner body because I want you to realize that it doesn't have to be a bunch of outer body movement to practice yoga. So much of it is internal work. And that's the beauty of the way we teach yoga at Mind Body Solutions, is that it doesn't have to be grandiose. It's the internal work, that really allows you to feel the beauty of what yoga can offer. So, without further ado, I'm going to go back to my chair and we'll get going. All right then. So if I appear really tiny on your screen right now, you are welcome to pin my video, PIN, pin my video, by hovering in my little square, the right upper hand corner. And that little drop down menu will allow you to pin me. I like to practice in gallery view because I kind of like to see what everybody's doing. But I also recognize that when I go away from the camera, I'm probably a little bit hard to see. So I'll leave it up to you. One of the most important things I want you to know about this practice is that I will be doing some physical movements, but if you prefer not to or unable to do those movements, that's okay. You can modify them any way you want, or you can also do them inwardly. So sometimes, and I won't do this because it's a really, really difficult class, sometimes I'll teach an entire class with no movement. That is tough, especially for a beginning yoga student, because it's so much inward work and people heat up. So we are going to do outward movement, but just do what you can do, and also observe without judgment. Really hard, but possible. All right, so we're sitting in our chairs here. I want you to be comfortable and I want you to be safe. I'm a little bit toward the edge of my chair. Not all the way with my back on the backrest. If you can do that safely, you can scoot forward a little bit. If you feel like by scooting forward you're compromising your balance, then don't do it, because you won't get the benefit of the yoga if you're constantly working to maintain your balance. So that's the first part of our practice today, which really is the practice, is finding a safe space, finding the safe space in your chair where you can practice. And then I'm putting my hands palms down. You're welcome to put your hands palms up or let your hands be right where they are as we practice, or as we start today. I am going to start with a little bit of seated meditation, and then we'll go into our practice. And again, if something's not working for you or you want to go another direction, just write it in, and Anne can wave me down, and we can always change direction. So let's sit up straight and tall to your capacity, finding where your sitting bones are. So just drawing your attention down to where you're sitting. And if it helps to kind of go back and forth, frontward to backward or side to side, just so you begin to feel that sensation of weight on your sitting bones. And some of you may sit for much of the day and you're thinking, the last thing I want is more weight on my sitting bones, but I want you to feel the shift. All right? I want you to notice the change. Again, observing without judgment. Oh, this is the change of weight as I even go forward and backward a little bit. This is the change on my sitting bones. Just so you begin to notice that. Again, hands face, palm up, palm down, whatever you want. As we begin, I'm going to soften my eyes, and you're welcome to soften your eyes right along with me, or simply gently close them if you're comfortable doing that. And we'll let the singing bowl, I guess you can't see that, but we'll let the singing bowl down here bring us into our practice today. And so we let the sound of the singing bowl bring us in to our practice today. Letting it be a signal coming together, forming this little sangha or community today. Simply coming here with joyful investigative curiosity, as we discussed earlier, just to explore a little bit, maybe to feel a little bit, maybe just for a pleasant diversion. There's no right answer, all or enough. So we notice the sensation of our hands wherever they happen to be lying at this point. Just simply feeling the gentle pressure of the hands on the legs or the armrests, wherever they happen to be. We found our sitting bones, and now let's bring attention to our feet. Simply noting where the feet are. Not lingering there, just simply noting and moving on. Soften your eyes, the inside portions of the ears, the inside of your mouth. As we let go of any stress that's not serving us right now. Let the breath settle in the body. We'll take just a few more breaths here as we center ourselves, as we bring ourselves into this practice today. And now draw your attention to your sternum or your breastbone. And either on the inner body or the outer body, this doesn't have to be a physical move, just gently draw it up, just a bit. If it feels okay and it's easy to do, gently let the chin drop down just a hair, maybe even a millimeter. Notice that sensation of a lifted chest, maybe a tiny bit of length in the back of the neck, and a little bit of a nod of the head. Notice how even that very small movement changes how the breath moves in the body. And then slowly raise your head and open your eyes. Okay, so let's get moving. So we're just gonna get the body moving. It's so hot out, so we're not gonna move too fast. We're just gonna kind of keep things moving. So let's just start warming up by rolling the shoulders any amount. Whatever that looks like or feels like to you. And I'm rolling my shoulders back toward the wall behind me because we spend so much of the day hunched forward. And so I just want to give a little bit of love to rolling the shoulders back. Taking your time. Sometimes I bring my spine into it a little bit and I just start to move. If it feels good to move a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, okay. That's what I like to see, a little bit of movement. And then let's go the other way because we should bicycle the other way too. So we're going to bicycle those shoulders around the other way as well. And then slowly come to a still point. And just give yourself give yourself just a little bit of time when you come back from the movement, let your body process where it's been. Just notice what you feel. There is no right or wrong. It's just the body processing where it's been. And then if you feel comfortable, just flip the hands up and down. If it feels good to do a little wavy gravy and start moving them a little bit, that's great. If it feels better just to lift them a little bit. Either way, whatever it feels like, whatever feels right for you, just start moving those hands up. Sort of slowly bringing our body into this practice. And then we'll let the hands land. We'll just start sliding the hands back and forth along the thighs. All right, so warming up into the shoulders and the elbows and the wrists and the fingers as we warm up all those little joints. And if it feels good to slow it down and add a little bit of a twist, then slow it down and add a little bit of a twist. If your body's saying, yeah, not so much, then don't do it. Moving like we're just moving in a pool with warm water here. Good. And then if it works to start moving your toes, you probably can't see my toes, but start wiggling your toes a little bit if those toes want to wiggle. Maybe moving them around anything in that lower part of the body. Maybe it feels good to let the legs begin to. I'm going to do just a little bit up and down because it just feels good today. You find what feels good to you. And again, I let the body kind of come online as it wishes. In and again. So I like to warm the body up and bring the body online because we've been doing all sorts of other things today. You know, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon if you're in my time zone, which I think most of you are. Sometimes that's a good time for a nap, but today it's a good time for some just languid summer yoga. So just bringing the body online. It was like, wait a second, I was ready to rest. Well, it's okay, we can rest when we're done. So a little bit of back and forth. So these have been kind of general moves, right? We're just sort of moving, maybe moving the arms, doing the wavy gravy, I like to say. Just bringing the body online and into the practice, waking it up, and we don't often enough give ourselves the permission to just move. What if you just danced in your chair for a little bit? What if you gave yourself permission to move? Why is this not socially acceptable to be sitting at your doctor's office waiting for an appointment and just start doing this? I just have that fantasy that one day one of my yoga students will come and they'll say, I did it. I sat there at the dentist office and I started doing this in my chair. One of these days it'll happen. Of course, I don't do it either, so to be fair. All right, so let's land it back. Let's bring the hands back to our knees, back to our feet. Take a nice slow breath, whatever that feels like for you. Let that land in the body. So we've been moving to just gently wake up the body with these more general movements. And now we're going to go into a little more specific movements. And a lot of these are more inner body. So there'll be lots of instructions that You don't need to do every bit of every instruction, but let's move it into a little deeper part of the yoga practice. So we're going to draw our attention to one of our shoulders. Doesn't make any difference. I'm tapping my right shoulder. Doesn't make any difference to me what shoulder you decide to use. And let's go ahead and just do a little rolling. So I'm rolling my shoulder back, and then I'm just resting. And then we're going to stay on the same shoulder here, okay? So we're going to roll that shoulder back. I want you to feel your shoulder blade moving in your body as you do this. And then one more time with the same shoulder, we're going to roll it up as high as you can this time. Go as high as you can. And then roll it back as far as you can, and then hold it back there. So you can see that my right shoulder is behind, or maybe you can see that my right shoulder is actually up, and my left shoulder is more forward. So my right shoulder is backward. And as you feel that, notice this openness that's starting to occur in the front of the body. Our shoulders rarely get open that much. So we're just going to emphasize it here, and very gently I'm going to take my head and I'm going to turn it away from that open shoulder. Because why wouldn't we? Give ourselves a little stretch here. And then release the head back to the center, and then release the shoulder. Now come back to your position and notice the difference between your shoulders. We didn't do that much with this shoulder. We just opened up the front of the chest a little bit. And notice if you feel any difference. You may not, but you might notice a little bit sense of spaciousness from here to here that you don't have on this side. Or you might not. Either is fine. Let's go to the other side. So we're going to roll a big roll. And we're going to really roll that shoulder back and then come back to your starting position. We're going to really roll that shoulder back. Come back to your starting position. And now this third time we're going to roll it back. Roll it way back. And we're going to keep that shoulder blade sealed onto our back body. So we've got this kind of diagonal opening again here, don't we? On the left or the opposite side of the chest that you were on. Make sure you're not falling into your low back as you do this. Make sure those sitting bones, yeah, I saw you nod because you were falling into your low back. Yes, it's easy to do because you pull this back and then something wants to come forward. So keep your spine as neutral as you can. As I said, we're getting into the minutiae here, but that is part of the yoga practice. So we're opening up this part of the body, and now we're just going to let it come back to neutral. Let it come back to neutral. But oh, we forgot to turn our head, didn't we? Okay, one more time. We got to do it. We got to roll here, roll that second one, and then we were going to look. We should do on one side what we did to the other. It's going to look the other way. And then we'll come back to the center. There we go, and then release that shoulder. Now maintain a little sense of openness between the shoulders. Don't take your shoulder blades in the back and pull them together, but just maintain that little sense of openness here. Hands can come back down to the thighs. Just rest here for a couple of breaths. Let the front of the chest to be open. Keep your sitting bones grounded. Nice tall spine to your capacity here. And let's take the arms out to the sides. And again, to your capacity, take those arms out to the sides. From the center of the palm, begin to gently spread the hands wide across the palms, all the way out through the fingers and the thumbs. So you get this nice big spread palm here. Press down through your feet to lift your chest. And then slowly begin any amount, bending those elbows and bringing yourself into a goddess pose. Now, if you want to raise the arms up a little higher, you can, or you can let the elbows be down a little further, whatever feels right. But moving into what we call a goddess pose. So, of course, feel your inner goddess here. Nice and wide, we open that chest. Now we're spreading not just across the chest, but from one elbow point to the other elbow point. Keep the spreading going on through the hands. Connect that to the feet as you press down through the feet and lift the chest just a little bit. And then any amount, let let those elbows open as you bring the hands back down and bring them back. Land the pose on your knees, and then let your fingers relax here. Take a breath or two here. All right, so we're going to go a little more deeply into that particular, one more variation of that pose. If you prefer to stay with the first variation of the goddess pose here, that's fine. Otherwise, if you wish to raise your hand, you can raise your hands up. So we're going to go start again down here. We're going to go wide with the fingers again. Let's bend the elbows again. And take this into any form of goddess pose that you wish. If you wish to bring those arms up a little bit, bring them up. It could be one arm, it could be both. And then pressing down through the feet, let's take one arm up, bringing it up into an Ardha Urdhva Hastasana. Don't worry, you don't need to remember that Sanskrit name. And then let's bring it down. Yeah, that's it. And then we're going to go the other way. Ardha Urdhva Hastasana. You can try saying that if you want. It is kind of fun, but it's not an easy thing to say. All that means is half upward salute. So we're doing half upward, arms above your head. Come up. And then one more time down. Sometimes people don't think they're doing yoga. That's why I say the Sanskrit names, because yeah, that's actually a yoga pose. And let's bring it down. And then come on down. Bring it back to the center. Land the pose in the center. Be in the center here for a couple of breaths. Now let's move it. That was pretty stable, and pretty not moving. And so let's just start moving the body. Start moving the body. Maybe you want to go in a circle. I'm circling on my hips here. Little bit of free trunk movement. Maybe it feels good to go back and forward. Maybe it feels good just to shimmy those shoulders down a little bit. So letting the body just move in any space now. So letting the body come back online, whatever that feels like for you. And we're going to go into some more precise movements. So I like the general movements of just living in the body in all the spaces you can. And then we do a little bit more precise work. So come on back to the center. Let's be in the center. Let yourself land here for a couple of breaths. Now I want you to draw your attention to your feet. So whether you have active movement of your feet doesn't matter in this. We're going to do an activity called foot doming. And there's no movement in this. So it'll feel a little odd, but part of it is a kind of a cool awareness exercise of different parts of our body. So right now, simply draw attention to your feet. Feel your feet on the floor, on the foot pedals, wherever they happen to be right now. Now I want you to draw your attention to the inner ball mount, so the big toe side of your foot, the inner ball mount of both feet, and press the inner ball mount into the floor of the foot pedal. So press that down, and whether that's a physical or an inner body movement, doesn't make any difference to me. So even if you can't do it physically, you should be drawing your awareness there as if you're pushing down physically. So press down through the inner ball mount of the foot, and then release. Notice what you feel in the rest of the body as you ground down. Press down through the inner ball mount of the foot. Now bring online the outer ball mount, the pinky toe side of the ball mount of your foot. Strange. And of course your legs want to drop off to the side, so keep the legs centered as much as you can. And now keeping both of those down, pressing down, draw your attention to the middle of your heel. Press down through the middle of the heel, and from that, allow yourself to rise up through the midline. Part of what yoga does is it brings us back to the midline. It provides a symmetry that we don't often get in our daily lives. So you're pressing down through those 3 points of the foot, whether it's physical or not, doesn't make any difference to me. And then release and let everything drop. The funny thing about that is you may not notice the rise in the spine or the upward surge of energy in the body until you release it. Most of the time, you feel the drop. Did anybody feel the drop? Did anybody feel that drop? Yeah, no, not sure. You don't know what I'm talking about. I'm glad you're still here. That's enough for me. All right, we're gonna do it again. This takes some doing. I have to apologize. I have a ceiling fan above me, and it's whipping little wisps of hair into my face constantly. So that's why I'm wiping. I'm not sweating profusely, at least not yet. All right, we're going back to the ball mounds again because we're going to keep adding to this. Strange but beautiful little activity here. So again, inside edge of the feet by the big toes, pressing down through that arch or ball mound of the big toe. Now press down through the outer. My fingers already helping here. Try not to have your fingers help, but my fingers are helping. Pressing out through the outer or the pinky toe side. Now pressing down through the center of the heel. Now to your capacity, spread your toes out toward the camera. Spread them out in front of you. Try not to grip with them. And again, this could be both an inner body and an outer body movement. We're calling this is the preparation for what we call doming the foot. So feeling all of that, and now relax. Okay, so now it gets a little more complex. So we're going to activate the arch of our feet. But there will be, again, there's no movement in this. So again, this is kind of precise. I just think it's kind of fun. That's why I thought I'd teach it today, though. All right, so pressing down through the inner ball mound. Pressing down through the outer ball mound, pressing down through the heel. Lengthen those toes out, lengthen those toes out. Now, here's the kicker. You're, without any movement at all, draw the ball mound toward the heel, as if you're going to activate every single muscle of the foot. Nothing will change outwardly, but inwardly, you should be working like wildfire here. And then release and let it all go. Again, yeah, don't fall out of your chair. Not completely all go. All right, so this particular activity that we're doing, I learned a little while ago in this actually it was a course for osteoporosis, osteopenia and osteoporosis yoga course. And I love how they activate the feet and they create the sensation of base. Because, you know, we're not doing poses in standing in this class anyway, but we still want to create that sensation of base. So we're going to continue with that, and we're going to add some things to it, but I want to feel the sensation of base so we have this lightness in this support to begin to move the upper body as well. So here we go again. We'll go a little faster this time. Inner edge of the foot. Outer ball mound, press down through the heel, lengthen those toes out so you're not gripping. Now, as if you're going to pull the ball mound toward the heel without moving, activate all of those muscles either inwardly or outwardly on the bottom of the foot. Let that rise up the central corridor, reach out through the top of your head, and sit maybe just a little bit taller. Soften the eyes. Let that chest lift. Remember how we opened here? Let that come online. And then release it all and feel the drop. Let it drop. So we're going between this very, very precise pose, and then we're just letting it go. Back to the precise pose, just letting it go. All right, so this time we're going to add some arm stuff. All right, back to the feet. Inner ball mount, outer ball mount, middle of the heel, long toes. Right, pull those ball mounts toward the heel. Rise up tall through the top of the head. And then let's take one arm up into a what? Urdhva Hastasana. I knew you remembered it. No, you didn't. That's okay. You don't need to. All right, so nice tall arm, as tall as you comfortably can, reaching toward the ceiling, grounding through that opposite hip. Now take your other hand and ground through that opposite leg. And then reach just a little bit taller, any amount or none at all. And then slowly bring it on down. Good. Back to the center. Activate your feet. You know what to do now. I won't go through all the steps. Rounding down through the feet. Let's go with the other arm, bringing it up here. Reaching as tall, becoming as tall as you possibly can, taking that opposite arm now, pressing down so you're moving in multiple directions at once here. One hand up, one hand down, both hands can be down if that feels better, bringing both hands into the knees and lengthening through the spine. Good, and release, and come on down. We could go on and on with that. We'll do one more thing, but we won't go too far because you can only take so much of the foot stuff. I know, that's okay. All right, let's try the feet one more time. So inner ball mount, outer ball mount, center of the heel, long toes, dome that foot, and we'll take one arm and we'll anchor ourselves on our chair, and take the other arm up any amount. You can bring it into a goddess, you can bring it out to the side, whatever feels good here. Let's inhale here, and as we exhale, let's take it over into a side bend. Make sure you're anchoring yourself on the other side to be safe. If the arm's not moving, the shoulders, the head can be moving, whatever feels right for you here. And then let's take a wide arm and bring it out. Come on back to the center. Be in the center. Notice the difference between the sides. Recognize again that our movements don't have to be grandiose to count. It doesn't have to be the party tricks. The movements can be small, so you don't have to even bring your arm out to the side. It can be just a simple weight shift is enough to teach the inner body that movement of energy. All right, back down to our feet. Inner ball mount, outer ball mount. We got the whole foot doming. We got the middle of the heel going down, giving us that little bit of lift. We'll take the other side, any kind of movement with the arm, goddess or Urdhva Hastasana, whichever one you want to do. I'm going to give myself some support by anchoring my hand on the other side. Inhale here. And as we exhale, let's take it over to the other side. Any amount. Don't throw yourself off balance. Ground down through the feet to support this pose. And then slowly, wide arc brings you out of the pose. Good. Bring your hands back to your thighs here. In the center. Land that pose. Take a little rest. Let's drop our hands down to the side into a seated mountain pose, what we call Tadasana, or mountain pose in yoga. So your feet are right where they are. We won't worry about the grounding. Now you kind of know that to ground the feet, we don't have to go through the doming. Hands down by the sides and a nice long trunk here. So sitting bones are anchored to the seat, long front of the spine, long back of the spine. So we've got this long trunk. Balance your head right on top of your shoulders to your capacity. All right, we have tendency sometimes to have it forward or backwards, but find that center point, find where that is. Let your fingertips and the tips of your thumb reach down toward the floor, even as you keep the chest lifted here. Then we're going to do something we call pendulating the arms. So we're going to kind of move like a pendulum with our breath. So we're going to inhale and bring the arms up a little bit, and then exhale and bring them down. So it might be your arms, it might be your shoulders that come up. Inhale. Exhale, almost like you're a bird. Inhale, pendulating up. Exhale, letting it drop. Let's do a few more here. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. One more time, pendulating up. And let the arms just gently roll as they come down. Come on back to the center, in the center. So we're pretty warmed up now. And I think we have time. Let's go ahead and do just some real simple little back bend here. I want you to be comfortable in your chair, so you can be all the way, if you've scooted forward, you can stay forward, or you're welcome to scoot yourself back. I'm gonna scoot back, so I'm actually against the back of my chair here. You decide where you feel most comfortable. We're just gonna do a little bit of a, excuse me, a little bit of a back arch here. So I still want your feet I still want you to notice where your feet are. So draw awareness down through the feet. Let's just press down through them. Again, this can be both an outer body movement or an inner body movement. Bring your awareness through the corners of the feet, the outer, the inner ball mount, the bit of the middle of the heel. Press down through there. Let there be a little bit of corresponding rise in sensation in the body, or maybe the chest will rise a little bit. And then slowly let it all go. And then again, balancing the head on top of the shoulders, pressing down through the four corners of the feet, lifting the chest a little bit. Maybe you just get a little bit of a dome here on the top of the chest as we're going to go into a little bit of a back bend, and then relax, let it come down. So we're going to oscillate now, just between the little bit of a back bend and then a more neutral spine. Little bit of a back bend, neutral spine. Now, depending on what's going on with your neck and your head, some people like to look up a little bit. Other people prefer to keep their eyes in their chin level. I'll let you decide if you prefer to keep that level or if you want to give your head a little tilt back. Either is fine. All right. So we'll start by pressing down through the feet, and now let's press down through the hands to give us a little bit more of an anchor here. Slowly begin to raise that chest up a little bit, keeping your sitting bones down. We'll do a little bit of a back bend here, or a lot of a back bend if you're feeling that. And then release and let it come on down. Come back to the center. If you've tilted your head back, thank you. Thank you, Miss Green Bay, for coming back to the center. You were definitely bringing the head back. That's excellent. Okay, same thing, pressing down, lifting up. If it feels good and you wish to take the arms out to the side for a little bit more open chest, you're welcome to. Otherwise, keep your arms on your armrests or on your lap. Opening, and then closing and coming back down, coming out of the pose. And then we'll take one more, pressing down through the feet, lifting the chest. Head can come back or not, opening up, but front of the chest like we did in the beginning of the class, bringing it all together in this back bend. And then slowly coming back. So I want you to start seeing the kind of the through line of the yoga practice here. So remember where we started. Remember we opened our shoulders, didn't we? And we opened the front of the chest. And then we went to our feet, and we grounded the feet, and we domed the feet, because in any back bend, you have to be grounded through the bottom part of their body to enable you to be mobile and to open here. So we opened the chest, we opened the feet, and then we brought it all together in this lifted chest of a back bend. So I was actually leading you somewhere, but sometimes it's really hard when you're like, where the heck are you going, lady, with all of this? But we were actually moving. We were actually moving. We were taking apart the components of a back bend and building it throughout. So anyway, there's our back bend. That was kind of fun. I kind of like back bends. They tend to be invigorating. You can tell I'm talking probably way too fast right now. Sorry about that. But back bends do tend to be invigorating. And that opening up is something that we just don't do often enough, do we? Our daily lives bring us forward. Our computers bring us forward, whatever we happen to be doing, or books or whatever. And so it's really good for us to reverse that curve and open up. And then typically in a yoga practice, we follow a back bend with a twist. So we're going to twist just a little bit. I'm going to move back toward the edge of my chair. Again, I want you to be safe, so you stay right where you are against the back of the chair if that's most comfortable. Otherwise, if your balance allows, you can come forward on your chair just a little bit. So let's just land here, hands in the lap, nice tall spine. Balance your head right on top of your shoulders. Soften your eyes just a bit. Let your breath land in the body. Notice where it's at. Sometimes, especially after back bends, we tend to breathe high in our chest. So let the breath just land where it naturally wants to right now. No need to worry about manipulating it or anything. Just naturally letting it land. Pause here for a few breaths. All right, so we're going to twist. We'll twist one way, of course, and then the other. You can twist the same way I am or not. Doesn't make any difference to me. I'm going to take one hand and anchor it on my leg here. So on your leg or on your armrest, wherever it feels most comfortable. To your capacity, take the other arm and either bring it back. So if your arm is on an armrest, slide it back a little bit if you can. Or maybe grab the side of your chair. Just slide it back on your thigh a little bit. Whatever helps you begin to feel this diagonal, this little bit of a diagonal. You don't have to twist a lot. Remember, a lot of this can be on the inner body. Once again, round down through your feet. Lift up tall through the spine. Now keep this tall lift of the spine as we inhale here. And then exhale as we turn away from that front hand. Doesn't have to be a big twist. Doesn't have to be a big twist here. Just a little bit of twisting, even on the internal part of the body. A little twisting is fine. And then if you wish to go a little bit deeper, we'll inhale and lift the chest. Exhale, maybe turn a little bit more, maybe not. Breathing here, and then slowly relax and come on back to the center. Be in the center. And then we'll go the other way. So I'm going to have my other arm, my other hand out a little bit, the other arm back a little bit. So actually this is already a twist right here. You don't have to go any further. But if you'd like to go a little further, we'll press down through our feet, lift our chest, Inhale here, keep the chest high. As you exhale and turn just a bit to the other side. And if you'd like to go a little deeper, we'll inhale one more time. Exhaling and turning any amount. Breathing here. And your next exhalation brings you back around to the front, in the center. Let the body land here. Now the best part of class, as Anne alluded to earlier, is Shavasana. As I said, I don't know if all of you heard, but I had one of my students come on simply for Shavasana today. And that's our final relaxation pose. So I'm going to slide back in my chair because I want to be really comfortable. I'll invite you to find the position in your chair where you're most comfortable as well. We always end a practice with Shavasana, with our final relaxation pose. And the best thing about it is you don't have to do anything. So it's a really nice way to end a yoga practice. So if you're comfortable, you can let your chin drop forward just a hair, so you're not working so hard to view the screen. You're welcome to soften the eyes. I like to actually let them gently close, but you can do whatever's most comfortable for you. And then we just begin the process of moving out of our active phase of practice into Shavasana, to our final relaxation pose. Notice the work that your body has done. Moving into spaces that were maybe unfamiliar today, maybe even a little bit uncomfortable at times, but always coming back to our center. Let the body settle here. Nothing to do for the next couple of minutes. Just recognizing, honoring the practice that we shared, and now allowing our body to rest, well-deserved rest. So we soften the inner corners of the eyes and the outer corners of the eyes. Soften the jaw and the inside of the mouth. Even the inner ears begin to soften. Let the shoulders relax away from the ears. Now is not a time to be working. Let the elbows even be a little bit heavy, almost as if they had little weights on them, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Soften the skin. Hard instruction. Soften the skin at the base of your skull. And then as if you were unfurling a blanket, slowly begin softening the skin all the way along the back body. From the neck, down across the shoulders. Slowly letting that skin soften all the way down the back body. Rounding at the pelvis to the underneath side of the thighs. Rounding at the knee, sliding down the calves to our feet. All that work we did with our feet, just letting all of that effort dissipate now. Just like with the back body now, softening the skin underneath the jaw. Letting that skin soften down the front and the sides of the neck. Softening along the front part of the body, maybe into the arms. Rounding at the hips, softening over the top of the thighs. Past the knees and down the front of the shin, and out to the top of the foot and toes. And the body simply rests here. Now we'll slowly begin coming out of Shavasana. Maybe just blinking the eyes open and closed. Bringing the head back to a neutral position. And it feels good to wiggle the fingers or the elbows a little bit. Feel free to bring yourself back online, but keep it very quiet. Very quiet as we come out of our yoga practice today. And if you wish, you can bring your hands together in the center or simply bring the hands to your thighs, whatever feels right for you. Ending our practice by coming back to the midline, being grateful for this community. Recognize that there are people all over the world who are practicing right along with us right now, and honoring this community. Namaste. The spirit in me bows to